A decorated black soldier politely asks for a simple drink on a cross-country flight. The flight attendant refuses, humiliating him in front of passengers. But moments later, the captain himself steps out of the cockpit, and what happens next silences the entire cabin. The hum of the engines filled the cabin as Flight 227 cruised smoothly above the clouds. Passengers settled into their seats, some dozing, others flipping through magazines or scrolling on their phones. In seat 14A sat Sergeant Marcus Davis, a 28-year-old U.S. Army veteran fresh from deployment. Marcus was quiet, unassuming. His uniform wasn't on, he traveled in plain clothes, but a duffel bag stenciled with his unit insignia sat neatly at his feet. Tucked inside his jacket pocket, his military ID was always close. He leaned back, trying to shake the fatigue from weeks away. His throat was dry, so when the beverage cart rolled past, he raised a hand politely. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said with a warm smile. "Could I get a glass of water?" The flight attendant, Janice, paused, looking him over. She hesitated, then frowned. "Water? We're serving premium beverages for first-class passengers first. You'll have to wait." Marcus nodded. "No problem. I can wait." The cart rolled forward, but after Janice served others, even those seated behind Marcus, he realized she was deliberately skipping him. "Again?" he asked politely. "Ma'am, when you have a moment, just a water will be fine." This time, Janice's tone sharpened. "I told you. You'll wait. Don't keep asking." Passengers nearby exchanged uneasy glances. An elderly woman across the aisle whispered to her husband, "Why won't she just give him water?" Marcus forced a small smile, swallowing his frustration. "Yes, ma'am." Minutes passed. The cart made its way back up the aisle. Passengers sipping sodas, wine, even sparkling water. But Marcus's tray table remained empty. He tried again, more softly this time. "Excuse me, ma'am. Please. I'd appreciate just some water." Janice stopped, placing both hands on the cart. Her voice carried enough for nearby rows to hear. "Listen. I don't know what you think this is, but you're not entitled to special treatment. Don't expect me to jump just because you asked twice. You'll wait like everyone else, or you won't get anything." The cabin went silent. Marcus sat stunned, the sting of embarrassment settling deep. He wasn't asking for special treatment. Just water. The humiliation wasn't in the denial, it was in the contempt dripping from her words. Phones discreetly lifted into the air, passengers recording. The energy in the cabin shifted. Everyone sensed this wasn't just about a drink. The tension in the cabin was thick enough to choke on. Marcus sat still, trying not to let anger show on his face. Years of discipline kept him calm, but his heart pounded. He'd faced harsher words in harsher places, but never had something so small, asking for water, felt like such an attack on his dignity. A college student in the row behind leaned forward. "Hey man, you want my soda?" "She shouldn't be acting like that." Marcus shook his head gently. "Thanks, brother. I'll be okay." But he wasn't okay. The humiliation dug deeper with each passing minute. Passengers began whispering. Some shook their heads. Others muttered, "Unbelievable." A woman across the aisle finally spoke up. "He's not asking for much. Why are you treating him like this?" Janice bristled, snapping. "Ma'am, I'll thank you not to interfere. I'm following procedure." "Procedure?" Another passenger scoffed. "Since when does water come with procedure?" The murmurs grew louder. Someone muttered, "She's targeting him." Another said, "It's discrimination, plain and simple." Marcus closed his eyes briefly, steadying himself. He didn't want to make a scene. But the scene was already unfolding around him. Then, as if on cue, Janice returned, her arms crossed. She addressed Marcus directly. "You'll need to lower your tone and stop making requests. You're disturbing other passengers." Marcus blinked, stunned. He hadn't raised his voice once. "I haven't disturbed anyone," he said quietly. "I asked for water. That's all." Janice shook her head firmly. "If you continue, I'll have to report this as unruly behavior. The cabin gasped. Passengers exchanged incredulous looks. Unruly? One whispered. He's been polite the whole time. Phones were now fully recording, lenses pointed directly at the flight attendant. The passengers weren't just witnesses anymore, they were gathering evidence. Marcus exhaled slowly. Ma'am, I respect your position. I'm not here to cause trouble. I serve this country. I just asked for water. That's all. Janice smirked, the corner of her lip curling. Oh, you served? And what does that entitle you to? Gasps filled the air. The words hung heavy, cruel. And then, just as Marcus lowered his gaze to the floor, refusing to escalate, another voice broke the silence. Strong. Firm. Commanding. Sergeant Davis? Heads turned. The cockpit door opened, and out stepped the captain. A man in his 50s with a presence that carried authority across the cabin. His gaze swept over the passengers before locking on Marcus. The captain walked down the aisle, his polished shoes clicking against the floor. He stopped at Marcus's row, eyes steady, voice clear. Sergeant Marcus Davis of the United States Army? Marcus stood slowly, caught off guard. Yes, sir. Without hesitation, the captain straightened his posture, brought his hand to his brow, and delivered a crisp salute. The cabin froze. Passengers stared, breath caught in their throats. The man in uniform wasn't even wearing it, but his service was recognized in a single, powerful gesture. Marcus's chest tightened. His own hand instinctively rose, returning the salute. On behalf of this crew, the captain said loudly enough for all to hear. And this airline, I thank you for your service. You've given this country more than most will ever understand. And you deserve respect. Always. The cabin erupted in applause. Passengers cheered, some stood clapping, their phones still recording. Tears welled in the eyes of the elderly couple across the aisle. The college student fist pumped the air. Janice's face strained of color. She stammered, Captain, I. The captain turned sharply, his voice hard. Not another word. You denied a soldier basic dignity. On my aircraft. That will not stand. Janice froze, shrinking under the weight of his authority. The captain motioned to another crew member. Get Sergeant Davis whatever he needs. Water. Meal. Anything. And treat him with the respect he's earned. Within seconds, Marcus had a glass of water placed before him, along with a quiet apology from another attendant. The captain placed a firm hand on Marcus's shoulder. You sit back and relax, soldier. We'll take it from here. Marcus swallowed the lump in his throat, nodding. Thank you, sir. The captain nodded once, then returned to the cockpit. But his salute lingered in the minds of everyone on board. As the plane continued its journey, the videos spread like wildfire. By the time they landed, hashtags were already trending, #SaluteTheSoldier and #RespectMarcus. The airline faced immediate backlash. Within 24 hours, they released a public apology, suspended Janice, and pledged a review of training procedures. But for Marcus, the moment wasn't about headlines. It was about dignity. A simple request for water had turned into a test of patience, respect, and humanity. And in the end, respect had prevailed, not because of anger or confrontation, but because truth cannot be silenced forever. When Marcus left the plane, dozens of passengers stopped him just to shake his hand. One elderly man, himself a veteran, whispered, You carried yourself with honor. Don't ever forget that. Marcus smiled faintly, his humility intact. He wasn't looking for applause. He just wanted fairness. But on that day, he reminded the world what dignity under pressure looks like. If this story moved you, hit like, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more. These aren't just stories. They're reminders of how respect and dignity should never be optional. Together, let's shine a light on injustice and celebrate the courage to stand tall in the face of it.